DNA and solving crimes.
If you commit a crime, your DNA is definitely going to be left.
It's on everything, right?
It is everywhere.
Y'all's DNA is on the table, right?
That's
yeah.
right.
So we have
and the mics.
We have a clip. We're gonna go and learn about DNA.
Well, this is
your DNA is.
So what was?
I was going to say this is breakthrough technology that is not the same as the conventional DNA crime solving as we know it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Probably already in a database. You didn't have to provide a sample or give consent, but the unique sequence of A's, T's, G's, and C's that make you you are searchable nonetheless. So if you committed a heinous crime and left a bit of your DNA, law enforcement could search it in a database and identify you.
Yeah, so what they're going on about that is that you could have just been living your life as normal, never given your DNA to someone,
right?
And then your DNA could be in a database somewhere. Like you could not give it to someone, like a government organization, a police entity, and your DNA is somewhere in a database.
Or your family.
Already.
Your family has the same DNA
Yep.
as you.
Yep.
Your sister or brother carries a lot of the same DNA samples as you do.
Yeah.
And if they got in trouble, then it's been
mean,
submitted. Or they signed up for a site like 23andMe or Ancestry.com and submitted that DNA.
I did
then
that.
It's in a database. You
I didn't do that.
I did that. I
I
actually
knew
have my
what was
results
coming.
right here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Angola.
He doesn't know.
So I am from, I'm 54% England and Northwestern Europe.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I am, oh man, I'm
You look really white.
So I'm actually, I'm 5% Sweden.
Oh, wow.
How cool is that?
But from all of this, from this, we can,
and
I don't
8%.
Your mom's
Joe,
probably a hot blonde, isn't she?
How much from Ireland?
So what we learned
Get
from
out of here,
this is
Brooks.
with your DNA, if your mom or your dad goes and commits a crime and they haven't submitted to this, their DNA is now in a database.
Well, let's see what
Let's
else.
roll the video.
Something
This
gets-
video includes a discussion of serious crimes, which may be disturbing for some viewers, so I wanted to let you know that up front. But I think it's necessary to talk about these crimes in some detail for reasons that will become apparent. In the small town of Visalia, California in the mid-1970s, one of the state's most prolific criminals got his start. He repeatedly broke into houses and stole small items like cash, coins, and jewelry.
Yep.
He was dubbed the Visalia Ransacker. But soon his crimes escalated.
Ransack.
And he got away with it.
Later, in
Got away with it every
1976, he
time.
moves up to Sacramento, and over the course of the next 3 years is moving all across Northern California, committing numerous sexual assaults, over 50 sexual assaults.
That's
Here, he was called the East Area Rapist.
yeah. So
So he's
doing
got
this over and over and
two
over
different-
again and not getting
So
caught.
ransacking is like where you just go through somebody's house, right?
Right.
You
Yeah.
just
Steal
tear the
stuff.
hell out of looking for anything.
And then he went from stealing to raping.
Oh yeah.
Well, it went from, yes, basically.
yeah.
Are saying lock up tight. Sacramento's infamous East Area rapist may still be in town.
And then in 1979, he moves down to Southern California, starting in Santa Barbara, and starts killing. And he was known
Tons
as
of
the
murderer.
original Night Stalker in Southern California.
Variously known as the East Area Rapist and the original Night Stalker, these were brutal, meticulously planned crimes that spanned numerous California counties between 1976 and 1986.
Police believed that all of these crimes were committed by the same person, now known as the Golden State Killer.
Yeah. So what they can believe that these are all being committed by the same people, but they weren't able to actually convict him. Is the thing. Right. So what we're seeing now is old crimes, or it doesn't matter when the crime was. If they have your DNA, this is now something like DNA crime matching has been a thing for a while, but now if your brother, if your sister, if your mother has gone to 23andMe or whatever, submitted a DNA sample, if you haven't done that and then you go and you commit a crime and you leave trace amounts of DNA around and they find it, they can now pin it on you through something your relatives
through your
have
family
submitted.
members.
Excuse me. Hey, Jeff, we've got to call off that bank robbery. Yeah, you sent your shit to 23andMe,
So when
man.
they started this in probably like mid-90s using DNA to solve crimes?
Yeah, I think it was maybe towards the mid to late 90s.
Oh,
So,
now
so are we saying like, just look, don't commit crimes and your DNA won't be there?
well, if you want to see, have you guys seen Minority Report with Tom Cruise?
With the eyeball thing, right?
Oh no, they predict crime, and he shows up just before the husband's about to plunge the gun or the knife, and it's cool. So it'll get you thinking. It's similar to this high-tech prediction stuff.
Or was it known that these were committed by the same person?
Investigators were relying on MO. MO, modus operandi, is basically how a criminal will commit a crime.
Was wearing some type of a mask or a hood. I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt.
The Golden State Killer had a very distinctive MO. But
so basically what they're saying is back then they couldn't get this DNA, or they couldn't do anything with this DNA to pin it on someone. They could
just collected it.
They collected it, but they were only able to determine if this crime was committed by the same person as this crime by similar operating styles, if you will.
Do is he would break into a house with a gun, a house with a man and a woman. He would tie them up, tell the man, I'm going to put plates on your back. If I hear those plates move, I'm going to kill your wife and then kill you. Take the wife into another room and sexually assault her. Then he would go through the house for however much time, eating, stealing stuff, stealing little things or whatever, and then he would leave.
How was he not caught based on fingerprint evidence?
Well, he didn't leave his fingerprints. He always wore a mask. He always had gloves on. This was an offender that did everything to prevent himself from being caught.
The Golden State Killer
That's
has
clue number
been
one right there.
Yeah. So I mean, they're
they should have known his background based on that. But the second thing really gives it away.
Wow, why did he get uglier through those?
Gosh.
These 12 murders, 50 rapes, and a string of burglaries throughout California.
Damn. It was party time.
All right, how's it going?
How you doing?
Good, good. So we supply DNA sequencing solutions to the forensic laboratories that process crime scene DNA. At a crime scene, there's typically less than a nanogram of DNA left. And
that is not much DNA. Yeah, wow. That is not much.
Do you know how many nanometers wide your hair is?
No.
70,000.
Wow.
So if he said 1 nanometer, dude, that's microscopic stuff you can't even see with a powerful microscope.
It's
amazing.
Degraded. Right, so it breaks down.
Why is there so little at a crime scene? A nanogram?
Yes.
That's insane.
Yes.
There's no accident that he stops in 1986. 1986 is when the first DNA case of a murder case is actually solved with DNA. And
so that tells you right there he works in law enforcement or something. For him to know and stop like that.
Yeah. So if the first DNA case was in 1996, I mean we're coming. I mean that's someone solving a crime by matching the criminal's DNA to the criminal's DNA, not the criminal's DNA to the criminal's sister's DNA or the criminal's mother's DNA. That was
specific towards that person. And now we're like we're getting
let's rock on here.
I think he's following that, and he's saying, you know what I'm doing here, I'm leaving my DNA. I can't do this anymore.
Investigator Paul Holes tracked the Golden State Killer for decades.
He couldn't account for DNA technology, and that really was his big mistake. That was the critical mistake. He left his DNA all over California. And it turns out that 3 of the cases, I had 3 sexual assault kits, and that's where I got the Golden State Killer's DNA from Northern California.
Yeah, so that was the end of that video there.
But wait, were they able to identify him?
They were. So this video
arrest?
continues on, and I think they ended up tracking it through a company like Ancestry.com or 23andMe of a family member that had submitted their DNA information just to learn where they were from. But because he was a family member, they were able to track it to his sisters and brothers.
Did the family members get in trouble?
So was there a conviction? No. Did they catch him?
Yeah, and they ended up finding a direct match to him.
Wow. Yeah, and so like the video, it went on for another.
And they cannot use like directly 23andMe or Ancestry's database, but there's a volunteer database that you can also submit your information to. And one of his family members did that, and that's how they were able to track it back. And it was
one of his family members. Surely, I mean, obviously.
Do we have a picture? I'd like to see what the guy looked like. I mean, who was he?
I don't think
we don't have that.
We don't have
the Golden
right
State
now.
Killer, right?
But yeah, I mean, it's where we've come.
Wow, boy, he was prolific, man. 50 rapes, dozens of burglaries.
You can do the best you can to leave your DNA out of it, but at some point you're going to drop a hair follicle, and you're obviously not going to know. Something is going to fall.
Oh, yeah.
And you can go the rest of your life knowing that you've committed 50 rapes, however many murders, right? And you can be careful. You wear gloves to every single restaurant you go to. You never go in public. You always order DoorDash. Well, never go out, right? And then if your sister does, I want to see where I'm from, and then she submits to, not 23andMe, but, one of those, sure, she submits to 23andMe and then takes that package that she gets and sends it to some, open source DNA database.
That's quite remarkable.
Or if the FBI, I'm sure there's some way they could get this information if they had to.
Yeah.
Like they could get some court ruling and get access to this.
So
sure.
I guess not that it's a bad thing. I mean, it could be a very good thing of solving crimes. But one problem that could come from it is that your DNA could happen to be at a crime scene that you had nothing to do with.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess
that would be
that's
to me,
very scary.
That's the scary part of that, is that they could try to pin something on you that you.
Yeah, if you were just passing,
like if you were at a friend's house and your friend decided to kill his wife after you left,
yep,
and you had gotten a boo boo there, you tripped on the rug or something, and what if they pin that on you, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw that guy lying.
I feel like with that, the only way to do those DNA crimes would be a repeat offender. Like they would have to have multiple times at multiple locations. Because if you just did it at one location, I mean, there's DNA everywhere.
Yeah, but a lot of times, a lot of these crimes are sex crimes, and there's no denying semen being found on a woman's body. Give me a break. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, I'm talking about other crimes.
But I mean, that's still.
But,
I mean,
hell, you could walk by and
it.
spit on the sidewalk. And then 15 minutes later, there's a gangland shooting. The guy falls on your spit.
That's what I'm saying.
And the cops take him in. They're going over his shirt, and they say, well, shit, this was Bob Benton shot this bastard.
Well, no, they wouldn't do that.
There also could be a setup situation.
You would submit your DNA to figure out what your ancestry is.
Yes, sir.
Nobody's going to deny it.
I mean, there could be
your
benefits.
DNA matches.
There could be benefits and negatives to that. I mean, it could be a good thing or it could be a really bad thing because they could, like the Minority Report, he didn't want to kill that kid, right?
Right.
And it could be a similar situation.
Yeah, they talked about how it got out of control. And so,
it's scary.
It's scary.
It's scary, but it's cool at the same time.
It's scary.
It makes a good story, but it's a nightmare if it ever really gets cooking.
Look, just don't get, don't commit crimes.
Right. Also, then you won't get caught. Make sure you and your family don't submit to those DNA places. Stay out of it.
You won't see me submitting. I'm not going to do crimes, but I'm not going to submit to it.
Well, you're in the database, Bob.
He just wanted to find out whether or not we had any American Indian in us.
That's that's why I did it. I'm actually part Cherokee.
We have zilch.
I was going to say, my mom did it, and so that means, I'm not going to commit any crimes. It doesn't matter. But I'm in the database now, and it doesn't even. This is starting.
You didn't choose
with crimes.
to be.
Yeah, this is starting with crimes. What if this expands to more than crimes? Like, what if the government? I don't want to say steals, but the government takes these databases from someone, and now they can do whatever they want with my DNA. They know they know my mom, and they say, "Oh, we want him."
It's an invasion of
Do
privacy.
we want to talk about control again and get back into COVID? I'm telling you, that's what's going on.
What I want.
Thanks everybody.
So yeah, what I want to talk about is how you guys should definitely like and subscribe to this, because this
definitely we need your support.
Yeah, we're gonna be posting lots more content. So please,
every day.
If you don't click on like, I'm going to smash this perfectly good iPhone. All right,
don't do it, Bob.
Anyway, guys,
don't make him do it.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.